fashion, music, wellness.
And don't forget sex.
Mostly sex.
If it's trending, they'll be talking about it. Trend Radio is right here.
And right now, I'm Anthony Vincent.
And I'm Elise.
And we always have something great to say.
Because it's us. So stay tuned.
You'll be glad you did. Good morning, Elise.
Good morning.
What a beautiful...
Freezing day it is.
Yes, it is.
I'm freezing.
Well, you know, there's a way to warm up.
I really am freezing.
And that's to
Just saying.
Make your little sexual interludes last a little bit longer.
Okay, I'm freezing.
But if you finding yourself having a few too many quickies...
There are ways to make longies? Is that what you're going to say?
That's right. Because with me, it is like Vladimir Dracula once said, never a quickie, always a longie.
Yeah.
Love at first bite.
Yes.
One of my favorite movies.
Yeah, very cute.
So, according to a recent study, most people's sexual interludes only last about 2 to 7 minutes.
Yeah,
2 to 7?
What? No, who are you? No. Who are you getting this information from? Because,
Dr. Harry Fish. He writes in his new book,
Really?
The New Naked, The Ultimate Sex Education for Grown-Ups.
Wow.
45% of men finish in 2 minutes or less, leaving their partners
Unsatisfied.
orgasmicless. You know,
Wow, that stinks.
it really is. But, you know, there are some ways to extend your man's sexual stamina.
Okay.
They're kind of creepy, though, I think,
Well, it depends on
how
you actually say
how
it right
dominant
now.
you are as the woman.
It depends on how you actually say it right now. But okay.
Well,
So let's talk about creepiness.
according to the study, it says have him masturbate beforehand.
Oh, like and there's something about Mary.
Yeah, exactly right. I thought
You need
that
a little hair gel?
ejaculating an hour or two beforehand makes it harder for a man to orgasm quickly.
Okay.
And Dr. Jane Greer, a relationship expert and family therapist, puts it, you can build up arousal again with a slow and intimate foreplay with your partner.
Oh.
So the guy's excitement is initially satisfied and he can better pace himself and sync up with his partner's rhythm.
Makes total sense to me.
When I was single, I had a roommate, and my roommate said exactly this. He was like a super horny guy, and
But he just didn't want to be too quick.
right, and
Yeah.
he said, Anthony, and I can't believe he said this to me. This is a true story. He said, Anthony, I'm going to share a little secret with you. I said, what's that? He says, before I go out, he said, I masturbate a little bit, so that way
And
when
he ejaculates, so this way
when
he's
he
not
finds
like,
it, yeah. So
freaking
this-
so desperate.
I mean, this is a real thing. And that roommate, I was a young man. I was
Wow.
in my 20s.
I
It was
actually,
at least 15, 16 years ago.
It's interesting. I actually have a couple of girlfriends that have actually said that.
With their,
They've actually done it
Oh, why is that?
because they were so extremely. I'm not introducing you, so don't even ask.
Oh, you better.
But-
You are introducing me to these girls.
Yeah, they were so extremely hot, and so just couldn't wait to see their guy. And yeah,
Are these your friends? Or
one of them is actually my friend.
Which one was that? All right, we're gonna talk about this later.
You
All right.
actually know this one.
Oh my God! All right, I'm going to pick her out. I'll pick her out. You don't have to tell me, but I'm going to
Okay.
pick her out, and you'll tell me if I'm correct.
You think I will, but okay. You should see the look on his face right now.
Not a customer, a friend.
This one girl in particular is a friend of mine.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, single or married?
I'm not telling you anything about her, because then that
Such a.
I'm not. You know what?
All right.
Protection. Just stop it and go. Read.
Protection. We're not talking about condoms. We're talking about protecting your
Stop.
friends.
Okay. Yeah. She's my friend.
All right. So, All right, where was I? What the hell are we talking about?
We're
You get me all riled up over here. You throw monkey wrenches in the show all the time. I don't even know what the heck we're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
So, alrighty, I got my train of mind. It doesn't matter how you treat me. I'm a professional. I focus. And if you're having a little trouble with your man being a little too quick, and you actually mentioned this a couple of shows ago.
Yes.
To have awkward sex.
Absolutely. Change things up. Mix it up.
Yeah.
Do things a little bit different. What your body will anticipate, change that.
That's right.
So that it's not always the same. And this way, it just makes everything last longer.
That's right. The new positions, I guess,
they're
distract
unfamiliar.
him. Yeah.
And because they're unfamiliar, so your body's not used to them. So it'll distract both of you, actually,
Okay.
which is a lot of fun.
Alrighty. So
And you learn new things. Use new muscles.
I'd like to learn new names.
Yeah, I'm not telling you.
All right.
They're old names anyway.
Okay. So when he's about to orgasm, you can have him stop and wait about a minute or so before going back to it.
But you don't actually, we actually did talk about this. You
it's
don't
called
actually
red
have
light,
to.
green light.
Yeah, but you don't actually have to stop. Just do something else. Change your position. Move a little bit. Start doing something else. Remember?
Mm-hmm.
I said do an erotic massage or something?
Yes.
But you don't necessarily even have to do that. Just kiss in a different way.
Mm-hmm.
Or kiss, period.
There's
kiss.
only one way to kiss.
Just
and that's
kiss.
passionately.
Kiss.
You know, everybody has an orgasmic point of no return. That's called ejaculatory
Evitability.
I know. You're familiar with this? All right. Sex researcher Dr. Ian Kerner puts it, I guess, uses that term. So we didn't make that term up. So, but what I say is squeeze it.
Squeeze it.
Squeeze it.
What do you mean?
What it literally stops him in his tracks. You know, think of bending a garden hose in half to stop the flow of water.
Yay. Oh, wow. I'm like, what? Squeeze what? Okay, got you.
All righty.
Okay, got it.
Yeah, don't bend him in half.
Hey, you don't have to bend anything. Just a firm grip there.
The kung fu grip like G.I. Joe had.
Squeeze. Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah. Squeeze.
Squeeze. Alrighty. And
you go in for the squeeze.
that's right. And another thing you can do is to try perpendicular sex positions.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Perpendicular, huh?
That's right.
You know we love that word.
We love that word.
That's a great word, that perpendicular word.
Yes, it is.
Mm-hmm.
Now, this is technically an outer course position, but it's a way to avoid
Outer course?
an outer course. Yeah.
Explain it to me.
Outer course is no penetration.
Ah, okay.
You don't actually enter. You just kind of glide back and forth along any part of her body.
If you recall, we actually have had this conversation too.
Yes, this was one of our...
I didn't know it was called outer course.
It is
but
called outer course.
It was just, a non-intercourse.
Which is outer course.
Okay, outer course.
So, what you would do is you would slowly glide through the small of her back, her stomach, even in her armpit. Just make sure that she's freshly waxed because if she has stubbles, you can get really scratched up awful. And if she's natural and the hair is really long, you can get all tangled up in it.
Oh,
So
yeah, you wouldn't want to do that.
Yeah,
Yeah, make sure she shaves under her arm.
No, the shades causes stubble. You will get a rash. And if it's too long, you get all tangled up in there. So it's got to be freshly waxed.
Okay, I don't think you're going to get a rash if she's freshly shaved. It's not going to be. It's when there's stubble. I can understand if she's got that much hair that she makes stubble. But I guess, you're Italian, so Italian women would be very stubbly. But most women aren't.
Speaking of armpits.
Oh, my God. Okay, everybody, here's what I'm going to say, okay? He's got a picture of a woman
with her arm lifted up.
armpit hair, the likes of which, a quarterback,
Longer than the hair on my head.
a quarterback, longer
And
than the
thicker,
hair,
too.
longer and thicker than the hair on my head. Okay, now. If anybody wants to see this picture, email me now, trendradio920@gmail.com.
Can we post this picture somewhere?
Not only, you'll be glad you did, but I will send you a $50 gift certificate and wait, here's a bonus.
And a free waxing
And a
certificate.
free underarm wax. Okay? So a $50 gift certificate to Anthony Vincent Salon, along with a gift certificate to have your underarms waxed. Because damn, wow.
Speaking of armpits and all of this hair that we're looking at,
Oh my God.
do you know there is a history of why women began shaving their armpits?
No.
Yes, yes.
I just can't even with this woman.
You learn stuff on this show that you just don't hear.
I have no problem if you don't shave under your arms.
Neither
Do whatever
I.
you want.
I don't mind it at all.
No, but she's got a lot. What's up with her?
Yeah.
She's like got testosterone.
Okay.
I'm serious. Either that or they put a Merc in there. Right there. She's got an armpit wig.
Okay. Anybody interested in the history of shaving armpits?
Okay, sure.
Alrighty. The origins of women shaving in the Western world, they're a bit ludicrous because it appears that the whole thing came about because of an advertisement in Harper's Bazaar in 1915.
Okay. Wow.
Yes.
Huge. So
Okay.
what did the advertisement say? Do you know?
Yes, I do. I have a copy of it. Let me find it. So basically, sleeveless dresses were in, and the company thought that, hey, why don't we make women feel like ashamed of their natural bodies and encourage them to buy hair removal products that they don't really need?
Oh, so it
And
was a
we'll
money
make-
thing.
Of course it was a
Oh,
money
it's
thing.
always about the money.
Always about the money thing.
Yeah.
And, I said I have a copy of that.
The thing is that I'm sorry I interrupted you.
No, you always do. I'm used to it.
But the thing is that you should never be ashamed of who you are. If you want to shave,
Never.
then go for it.
Absolutely.
But if you don't want to, that's fine too. Absolutely. Just be yourself. Be healthy.
Mm-hmm.
That's what's important.
That's right. That's right. So I have a copy of this ad, and it's a picture of a woman with her arms over her head, and she appears to be a flapper. She's she looks like she's in a nightgown or one of them 1920 dresses. It's
You know what's so interesting? The article is labeled, it starts, and it's all in big, bold letters saying, without embarrassment.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
So she is, it looks like she's laying in bed. She's on a pillow. So maybe this is a nightgown. Her arms are up high in the air. And then there's other pictures of a woman at a party, and she's dancing.
With her arms up?
Yes, in a sleeveless dress. And as Elise says, without embarrassment, an intimate talk to women.
And the interesting thing about that, with putting without embarrassment there, they put the word embarrassment there, so you're like, oh, so psychologically you become embarrassed. And psychologically you're like, oh my gosh, you know what? I better remove that hair. Well, you know what? No. You don't need to. First of all, we've talked about the pros and cons, but there are a lot of pros for keeping your underarm hair. If you want any of those lists or any of that information, email us at trendradio920@gmail.com, and I will send that to you personally, all of that information about the underarm hair.
How do you know so much about underarm hair?
Because we've had this conversation.
Oh, okay.
And we've talked about it. I don't want to go into all the details right now because we've done this already and it's on a prior show. Also, I will send you a gift certificate for $50 to Anthony Vincent Salon. And instead of an underarm wax, I will send you a different wax. Whatever kind of wax
How about
you
a
would
chin
like.
wax?
Yeah, unfortunately, I actually need chin waxes. They're awful.
Yeah, you need it this week.
Oh, stop. There's nothing I can do. It's a hormonal thing. It's from my medication.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
You can be such a jerk.
No, this ad is a jerk. Listen to what it says. The fastidious woman today must have immaculate underarms
My chin is
if
fine.
she is to be unembarrassed.
Yeah, see, I told you they use the word psychologically to get a hold of you.
Yeah, no, you look fine. I don't mind
Shut
the
up.
hair on your chin or the wart on your nose.
No, stop it. Stop. I don't have any warts. I don't.
Then what's that big thing on your nose?
Oh,
Is
stop
that-
it. Oh my gosh. You can see pictures of me. I don't have warts on my nose. My noses.
She acts like she has warts on her nose.
You better stop it or I'm going to hit you with my broom.
See? Knew it. Then we're not going to be able to get back and forth to the show. There goes your mode of transportation. If we can get back to the armpit hair. Is that okay? So something you should know, Elise, is that armpit hair removal actually became a thing.
Yes, I know.
And, and this got me thinking about, why women shave their bodies, which is something they probably been doing without much thought since they were like 12 years old, right?
Yeah, I would say so.
Okay. So I'm thinking that that's the culture of our society that has.
Totally.
Yeah.
That's ingrained. Women,
yeah. And
young girls in general, anybody female has ingrained into their heads that we must shave every part of our body hair.
Right. Just like we were disgusted by hair, even though the advertisements that are selling razors that show women shaving their legs are already perfectly smooth. They're shaving legs that don't need shaving.
Well,
if you notice in those
the commercials, yes, they are. Well, because they're just showing you what's done, but they're not going to have a woman with long leg hair because it's looked down on.
Right. There you go.
Mm-hmm.
There's the thing.
I know there's
nothing
the thing.
wrong,
I know it's
Well,
the thing.
I'm telling everybody right now, I love hairy women. I do. You got a mustache? It's okay. I'll kiss you. It reminds me of my grandmother.
Okay.
And I loved my grandmother.
I know you did.
Yeah. So we ask that women should be immaculate, hairless, flawless-looking beings, but under no circumstances admit what it takes to look like that.
Oh, now, I am telling you, it takes a lot. It takes a lot. If you're shaving your body, first of all, you're doing it in the shower, usually, or maybe not, whatever. But it takes time. You're not going to rush through shaving. You'll cut yourself, So that's the thing. And then there's the moisturizing afterwards and the exfoliating. I mean, tons and tons of things to do to keep yourself looking soft and beautiful.
Elise and I have been in the beauty business forever,
Decades.
Since we've never done anything else.
Mm-hmm.
And as admitting that you use makeup, that you have cosmetic procedures, removing your body hair, that would tell the world that you are vain and fake. And being in the beauty business, we know your lashes ain't that long. We know your hair ain't that thick. And, we know you aren't that tall and you aren't that thin wearing those high heels and your
he's
Spanx.
Like losing it here.
But you see, we are men and we don't care. So you can use the mascara to thicken your lashes. You can wear those hair extensions. You can wear the Spanx. Put on those high heels. We don't care. We just admire you the way you are. And
That's really
and
funny.
instead of embracing their bodies, these young women pick up on the ridiculous expectations of them to look naturally beautiful all the time. And as you just heard, looking beautiful is anything but natural. Don't be ashamed.
I think that the thing about beauty is that honestly, beauty comes from within. And so if you're a beautiful person, that will shine right through.
That's
and
right.
that's the truth. I understand that there are some women who do have, unfortunately, some insecurities, but we can help with that. Because when you come to Anthony Vincent Salon, honestly, we not only help you look beautiful, but we help you feel beautiful as well.
That's right.
And I wasn't saying that as far as a commercial, but that's something that we actually do.
It is. We do.
And we do that all the time. We have that gift.
And don't be ashamed of yourself, and especially after looking at all those airbrushed images. We can make you
Magazines.
look exactly as beautiful as you can look. We have the talent.
And
we have the know-how.
Of course, but looking beautiful, again, it's not only on the outside, because you can be the prettiest little thing and you can act horribly and you're not going to be pretty. You're not going to have beauty, because beauty is from within, and that's kindness, niceness, a glow, sunshine. That's what comes out.
That's right. And there is a growing number of women changing the game and showing their beautiful selves just as they are,
Naturally.
without a jolt of guilt. So let your armpit hair grow. Let your legs grow.
And you
let
don't
that
need
bikini
to-
line pop out of the sides of your bathing suit. It's okay.
And you don't need to wear so much makeup, ladies. It's nice to wear something natural, and it's nice to have a little bit of a glow on your lips. And if you want to enhance yourself, that's fine. Enhancing is one thing. Overdoing, totally different.
Just remember, ladies, we love you just the way you are. You're so silly. You make me blush.
Aw.
Alrighty. You are tuned in and turned on to Trend Radio. I'm Anthony Vincent,
And I'm Elise.
and you just don't hear this kind of stuff anywhere. And speaking of turned on, do you know there are some really weird things that can happen to your body when you're turned on?
I know there are.
And you have your radio tuned in
Yeah.
to Trend Radio.
Exactly. So tell us what those weird things are.
Okay. Well, I don't need to tell you the basic ways that your body changes when you're turned on,
Oh my gosh.
Your breathing speeds up, you tingle, your erector pili muscles activate.
Not to mention, other things happen to women too.
That's what I was talking about.
It's not only about you.
I was talking about women. I'm not selfish.
Really?
That's
Okay.
right. Okay. See, sometimes when you're turned on, your brain turns to total mush. But
Yes.
and
But that's
you
where
just,
actually all the turn on happens
you
in
don't
your
even
brain.
know what you're doing or what you're saying.
It's
It
your
just
brain
happens.
that's turned on.
It's between the ears, people.
Always.
I always thought it was a little lower.
The
but
reaction, yeah.
there are a few less obvious and much more interesting ways that people's bodies respond to sexual arousal.
Okay, like what?
All right, we're going to share.
Okay.
We're going to share a few old, sometimes annoying, and occasionally beneficial things that can happen to your body when you're turned on.
Spit it out. Come
Okay.
on.
This, I was married to a Jewish girl. And this is what happened to her. Parts of her body feel numb or paralyzed.
What does that have to do with being Jewish?
We would be in bed, and her feet were always cold, and she'd stick them on my back to warm them up, because I am Italian. And she would keep all the good parts to herself.
Oh.
All I got was her cold feet in the middle of my back.
Okay, well, there might have been a reason for that. You see, she was trying to walk all over you.
And that she did. Well, anyway, this doesn't happen to everybody, but there are some people who feel a little numb or a little paralyzed or a little tingly in their face or their hands while they're having sex. And being sexually aroused, especially when you're really close to orgasm, can make you tense up. It does. It's kind of like this. It's like...
Oh, so yeah, that sounds to me like you just ate something bad and that you needed to eliminate. That's just what that sounded like to me. So,
Alrighty. Well,
yeah, I'm not so sure that was a good...
if
Yeah.
all right. If it happens to you, it may feel funny, but it's normal. Why is it you always bring up bowel movements?
I don't.
It didn't sound like a bowel movement. That
it
sounded
did.
like...
It did. and I don't bring that up. You're the one that brings that up. I'm sorry that that's what you sounded like.
All right.
I'm sorry.
Whatever.
Okay.
You're the boss of me, obviously.
I'm not.
You really are, because every time I asked Al to do something, he says, "Is that okay with you, Elise?" Or actually, he says it like, "Is that okay with you, Elise?"
He doesn't do that. You're just being playful right now. So go on.
All right. Some people actually sneeze when they're turned on, or
You know what? I've heard that before. And I actually, yes. And I actually know somebody that happens to. And she says it's very, very uncomfortable. And she feels like silly and she doesn't know what to do about it.
wow. Yeah.
She actually asked her doctor about it.
Really? Well,
Yeah.
all she had to do was ask us. What's the matter with her? Would it cost her less money?
Oh, well, you know.
Yeah, when people will sneeze when they're turned on or after they have an orgasm. Oh, excuse me.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for drooling on me.
Scientists think this is a lot more common than we realize, and it might stem from from the parasympathetic nervous system, which is activated during sex and sneezing.
Ah, see that.
That's right.
See, I guess when you're excited, things happen sometimes that you just can't control.
Well, I guess, your sinuses fill and, they get, filled with mucus.
Stuff.
Yeah.
And it just
and
kind of...
it just wants to drip out.
I see.
So I don't know. So you blink.
Yeah, well, sneezing and dripping are two different things, though.
Sometimes dripping makes you sneeze.
Oh, yeah. I guess it could.
Yeah. Well, when you're excited, whether it's emotionally or physically, your eyes start blinking more quickly.
Yes, that is true.
You do that. And there's a sexologist that we know. It's Tracy Cox. And we spoke about her before. And she believes this happens because the more emotion you feel, the more important it is for your eyes to clear out potential tears.
Oh, yeah, I think that could happen. When you get emotional, you tear up or your eyes well up. Absolutely.
That's right.
And then also you become mucusy. It fills up in your throat and your nose and your ears, because ear, nose, and throat, it's all connected.
It is.
So I can see where that could happen. So sometimes sexually, sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes you have a very strong emotion for the person. And I could see where that would happen.
Yeah. And, all that mucus and saliva and earwax and stuff like that, it is a
He
little
makes
gross.
it sound so great.
It is a little gross, but when you're horny, you become way less easily grossed out. And I have a study to prove it.
Well, you know what? That happens. You're not grossed out when, depending, of course, what you're watching, but when you're getting excited and you're watching like pornography, for instance, that could trigger that emotion, that could trigger that sneezing, that sexuality, that could trigger all of that. You become excited.
That's right.
Some people do anyway.
And there was
not everyone.
Right, not everyone, but one study found that after watching porn, women were less likely to get disgusted or grossed out by images of things like corpses, feces,
Well, it depends. Women are less likely to be disgusted by anything.
Mostly men.
Yeah, men become more disgusted than women. But it depends. It depends on the woman, of course, and it depends on the person. It depends on what you're looking at. I mean, to see a dead body, that's just scary or sad.
Or somebody throwing up. Whenever I see or hear somebody throw
God,
up, I gag myself.
So do I. I gag too.
Yeah, it's awful.
That's really hard, especially when you have kids and they're gagging and throwing up.
Yeah.
Oh, and you're gagging with them. It's awful. Awful thing. And then you have to clean it up because they're only 4 and they can't,
I gag every time my niece changes a diaper. Oh, I got to leave the room.
Yeah. Well.
So there's another study that found that also women that just watch porn were more likely to drink from a cup that had a bug in it. Or eat. That's right. Or
you just take the bug out and then you just go on.
Or drink around it.
Yeah.
They'd eat a cookie with a worm next to it.
So let me just tell you something. So this is really funny. We were at the beach. A girlfriend and I were at the beach. We're at one of the bars nearby at the beach. And we had drinks. And
Gunnison Beach?
Haha. And so there were like just so many bugs flying around and bees and just different things. Anyway, a bug flew into my drink. And I was thinking to myself, I mean, it was a nice drink. And I was thinking, oh my God, to get this waitress here again, you know, we took the bug out.
And you drank it.
Absolutely.
That's because you guys were probably turned on the beach looking at all of those hunks in their Speedos.
I don't think that's
and the girls
what it
in their
was.
bikinis.
There weren't hunks and Speedos all over the place. We weren't turned on by the girls in the bikinis. It wasn't like that.
All right,
it was
older men with hairy chests and
it was hot
big
out,
bellies.
and it was a really nice big drink, and I didn't see that waitress coming back for us. And I wasn't putting the drink down. I'm just saying. I had no problem with it.
Well, you know,
I took the bug out, and that was the end.
well, that makes evolutionary sense. You see, because if we didn't have this reaction, we could find that sex itself is a little gross.
I guess we could. But you see, my point was, it depends on the level of disgust that you have. You know, normally, honestly, if I saw a bug in my drink, I wouldn't drink it. That's years ago. I would not drink the bug, because where did the bug go? What kind of grossness and dirt did the bug have on it? But when you've had chemo, that's pure poison. So it really doesn't matter what the hell's in your drink. Move it over. I'm drinking this drink. Do you see the difference now in my point? It doesn't matter. I'll eat dirt. I've had such yuckiness pumping through my veins that it doesn't really matter if there's a little dirt. And now you're picking your nose. Oh my God. He just picked his nose and wiped it on my strawberry. Okay? Because he thinks I'm going to eat my strawberry now. Oh my God. Are you kidding me?
I told you guys were gross.
Oh my God. Guys. Oh.
That was funny, Al. That was funny.
That was funny.
That was funny.
Poor Al is choked on his cracker. Okay? Oh my gosh. Thank you.
Did you actually see that from across the board?
Yes, he did. Thank you for the lovely strawberry gift.
Okay.
You apparently have a very large pinky.
I did.
Oh, that was just priceless. Love it. Thank you. That was great.
Well, if you're done grab-assing, Elise, let's get back to business.
Stop it. I'm eating my strawberry.
That same study found that women could tolerate disgusting images more when they were turned on. And it also found that they could view scary images, with greater ease, monsters, sharks, and spiders.
I can view some scary things, but not like alien stuff. I still have an issue with that movie from years ago. Yeah. And The Thing, John Carpenter's The Thing, that kind of stuff, when it takes over your body and your body explodes with stuff coming out of it. Ugh. See, I can't do that.
Where was I? I forgot. The aliens, you ate a cookie with a worm in it. Okay.
Yeah, no, I did not. I don't eat cookies.
Okay.
I ate a strawberry with a boogie on it.
Now, there are a few unfortunate souls that can't even enjoy a good sexual experience without a painful side effect.
Why?
A headache.
Oh.
Yeah. Some people get dull aches in their heads or necks, when things are starting to heat up a little bit.
Yeah, that's a vascular issue. That could thunderclap headaches.
Yeah.
We've talked about this
in the
past. Yeah. That is something you definitely, before anything, go see your neurologist, your doctor, somebody. Just make sure you're okay, because when you become heated up, if you will, and the vessels in your head start to expand, you just want to make sure that everything's okay.
Yeah, and don't worry, because these headaches.
I'm sure it's okay.
Yeah, they don't point to any major health issues at all.
Sometimes they don't, and sometimes they do.
Most of the time they don't.
You just want to be sure.
Okay. But your pain tolerance will skyrocket.
Absolutely.
That's why the what is that called? The S&M. there's a big thing
Sadism and
going on
masochism.
with the spankings and the.
Well, because when you get excited, your pain tolerance is higher.
That's right.
Yes.
And that's why I think a lot of people are into these spanking things that. And another study found that when women were turned on, that their pain thresholds doubled. So the same researchers also discovered that women experienced less pain during childbirth when the baby was moving past their G-spot. Isn't that interesting?
That is interesting. But can I just tell you something?
Sure.
If you're having a baby and you opt to not have any medication, anything to numb you or anything like that, seriously, once the baby honestly is actually moving through your body, there's no way. It's not about touching your G-spot. You are so numb to that kind of pain. It is so uncomfortable, and you become your brain doesn't allow you to actually feel it the way, in a sexual fashion at all. Trust me there. But the pain is so extreme that you're numb to it. You become numb to it is what actually happens. I had 2 children with no medication. I did it 2 childbirth naturally. The pain is you just can't even explain it. And it's not about it going past your G-spot. Because you know what? You're thinking to yourself, the G-spot's never going to matter again. Okay? Don't ever touch me. That's the truth. It's that painful.
Yeah, I have a cousin who's gay, and he said, when he was pregnant, he had kind of the same issues. And I argued with him.
God.
I said, "You are not pregnant." He said, I am pregnant. I'm 6 months gone. I can't wait to have this baby." I said, "No way you're pregnant." He said, "Yes, I am." And I said to him, "All right, if you're pregnant, who's the father?" He said to me, "How am I supposed to know? I ain't got eyes behind my head."
I need another strawberry.
Here's one. All righty. Let's change the subject.
Really?
Yes.
Thank you.
All righty. All of this relationship stuff. Do you know, I came across an article on the world's oldest woman, and she says that...
How old is she?
117.
Wow. Can I ask you something then? Does she get a letter from the president then? I know she got one 17 years ago, but does she get a letter every single year?
I didn't ask.
Or every 4 years, or whenever there's a new president, does she get a new letter?
Maybe she does. I never got a letter.
Don't worry, you will. You're almost there now.
Well, this world's oldest woman says that being single is the key to long life.
Really?
Yes. Her name is Emma Morano, the oldest woman in the world. As I said, 117 this year. And the Italian woman is this Italian woman is the last person on Earth who was born in the 1800s.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
And when she was young, everybody used to say that she was weak and sick because she looked so frail.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
She must eat a lot of yogurt.
Well, it's funny. She talks about what she eats.
I'm curious.
Where do you hear this?
What does she eat?
Well,
not that I want to eat it, but I'm just saying, I don't think I need to be here for that long.
Okay. She admits that her longevity has to do with her diet. She said, "I eat 2 eggs a day, and that's it." Oh, yeah. And cookies. But, yeah. But
okay.
I don't eat much because I have no teeth.
Oh,
That's my kind of gal.
I know she is. I was just about to say, you're going to love her.
Absolutely.
Okay, so she
Absolutely.
only eats two eggs a day.
That's it.
And cookies.
And cookies. Now, and she really thinks that her secret might have something to do with her staying single and independent for almost 8 decades.
Wow.
She didn't want to be dominated by an annoying co-host. I mean, she didn't want to be dominated by anyone. And At age 26, her fiance was killed fighting in World War I.
Oh.
Yeah. And then another man forced her to marry him.
Forced her.
Forced her. Either you agree to marry me or I will kill you, she remembers him saying.
Really?
Yeah. And she divorced him soon after that, of course. And she
Of course. What
Yeah.
are you talking about? If you don't marry me, I'm going to kill you? What kind of relationship is that?
Got me, babe.
Huh.
So and she's been living alone for the last 80 years until a caregiver moved in.
Well, good for her. I'm glad she has somebody who lives with her.
That's right. That's right.
I wonder if she has any brothers and sisters.
She-
Probably not anymore.
You know, she did. I think she had
She
8
must-
brothers and sisters.
Wow, a
you
lot
know,
of loss over those years.
And she had one son who died shortly after childbirth.
God.
And that's when she decided to leave the Mameluke that forced her to marry him.
Yeah.
So and at that point, you know, you lose your fiance, you lose your son. You're just like, I've got nothing to live for. So
Sure.
she just existed. What an
Well, maybe
awful way to
that's-
go through life.
Maybe that's why she's still alive, though. She's just existing.
She's just existing,
Yeah.
and that's
I just can't. Yeah, that's actually very sad.
it. Really is. I fear that.
I know you do.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I surround myself with happy, loving people, and
Yeah.
and I enjoy life. I can't imagine not being, you know,
Vibrant.
without vibrant and without having joy in my life. Every day I have joy.
Yes.
Every time I wake up,
Yes.
it's a joyous feeling for me. You know, every time I walk into the salon, it's fun. Every time,
Yes.
you know, somebody brings me something to eat.
That's a lot. That's a lot. Yeah. Yeah. I know that I'm always bringing you something to eat.
I love the women who feed
Yeah,
me. That's
yeah.
right. They say the way to a man's heart is through his stomach.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when I was younger, I always thought it was a little lower, but I was
You know,
wrong.
this joke is getting old.
I like that joke. And just in case you just tuned in, I told the joke again. I don't want you to miss it. And it was so good. If you heard it twice, now maybe you'll remember it. And you'll tell it.
Okay. You hear that, everybody? Make sure you tell Anthony's joke.
All right.
All right.
So let's kind of get away from this argumentative state that you seem to be in.
Me?
Yes.
What kind of argumentative state am I in?
Well, you know, you don't like my jokes.
I love your jokes.
You don't like the way I make my coffee.
Are you kidding?
Don't like,
I love the cream in your coffee
but you won't drink it.
because I'm not allowed to. It has sugar in it.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
love it. It has sugar and soy in it. I can't have that.
So we're going to change our direction from soy and milk and sugar and coffee. We're going to go right to deodorants.
Yeah, I love deodorant. I love good smelling stuff.
Mm-hmm. And, you know, there are a lot of other uses for deodorant than
Like what?
than deodorant.
Oh, tell me.
Okay. So, Elise, you know,
Anthony.
I know you personally can balance a million little things.
Mm-hmm.
Take care of your entire family. Take care of other people's family. And
Take care of you,
and
too. Which, let me tell you something, that's quite a job in itself. But go on.
That's right. And while still looking fabulous, you smell fresh. And
Oh, well, thank you.
and I know you don't use deodorant.
Yes, that is correct. I don't.
That's right. Some people say you should be putting your deodorant on before you go to bed, or
But what are the... I'm curious. What else do you use deodorant for?
I'm gonna get to that.
I'm curious.
Let me
I wanna
tell you the
know.
different ways people use deodorant
All right,
first.
before bed. Why would you do it before bed?
Well, some people don't shower in the morning; they shower at night, and they put the deodorant on. And
I have to
there-
tell you something. That's probably the worst time, in my opinion. That okay. I'm not going to get involved. Go
there's-
on. You tell. Yeah.
Wait a minute.
Tell me.
Can you play that back for me? She's not going to get involved, Al.
Come on.
I don't believe. Let's hear that again.
Okay. I'm not going to get involved. Now, how special was that? Oh, to have two men paying so much attention to me. Oh,
It's
how
good, isn't it?
special is
Isn't it nice
that?
having people pay attention to you?
Actually, I pay attention to me. I don't need others. Aha.
Well,
Go.
getting back to the deodorant instead of your needs, wants, and desires, there's a particular deodorant, I think it's called Certain Dry.
Certain Dry?
It's called Certain Dry, a very, very strong deodorant that the treatment is putting on the deodorant before you go to bed at night.
Okay.
And it's actually for wetness.
Okay. Well, there are some people that get very wet.
Yes. Yeah. I wish I knew a few of them. Okay. So, there's actually a little website that you can go to called The Best Time to Apply Deodorant.
Okay.
But did you know that you can wear deodorant in other places? And they don't involve your pits.
I knew that.
Okay. I'm going to tell you the first one.
Okay.
And you should know this one. You should probably be telling me this. But
Okay, go on. You can say it, and I will go and I will explain it.
okay.
How's that?
Well, it makes your face less shiny.
Yes,
Which
it's got a mattifier in it.
That's right.
Because of the powder and the talc or whatever it is, there's a mattifier in it. But you have to be very careful which type of deodorant that you use. And if you're going to use it on your face and your skin, you want to make sure that it's something unscented so that there's not too many other additives going onto your skin.
That's right. Just use your fingers to apply a little bit of your everyday deodorant on your cheeks, nose, and forehead, or any other area that tends to get a little oily. The same formula that keeps your pits nice and dry will help control your midday shine.
Absolutely. I know another place also.
Okay.
I'm going to, I see, I know where you're going, and I already know it, but I'm not going to say anything until you say it, and then I'll go on with it.
Well, there you go. All right. All the natural varieties of deodorants contain mineral salts, and they help dry out acne and breakouts.
Okay, I wasn't going there. I was going to do something else.
Okay.
Another thing I had.
Okay. Then, let me finish, and then you can
Okay,
add, because
you go.
evidently there's a lot more things that you can do with the deodorant.
Yes, I know.
Okay. So, I want to thank Amy Schumer for teaching us this little nifty trick. And you can go...
I love Amy Schumer.
I do too.
So funny.
You can go to Amy Schumer Met Gala deodorant. It's hysterical. And what she said was, and you can watch her, she said, the next time you're rocking a pencil skirt or a form-fitting dress, take the deodorant and apply it to your inner thighs to avoid chafing.
Absolutely. And you know what? Some of you are very blessed with very, very thin thighs, and therefore
No thigh gap.
there's not that issue. But unfortunately, some of us not so blessed, and we rub a little bit. That does help, and that is a fantastic thing. And another thing you can do with, ladies, some of us, have a little extra on top, underneath your bra, underneath your boob, actually. You can put a little right there, because you know how the skin sometimes, you sweat between your chest, oh God, and in your cleavage. You don't want that. You want to have a matte look, so you can do that too.
Well, and if you have two boobs, you can put it under both. Okay. You can.
They got me.
So after you're rubbing it under your boob or boobs, because not everybody has two boobs.
Stop it. Just
Okay,
stop
just
it.
saying. Okay, you got it on your thighs. Then rub that deodorant on the back of your heels.
It'll be very, very helpful when you're getting your foot into that very hot, tight pump.
Yeah, and you can rub it anywhere on your feet.
Mm-hmm.
And what it does is it prevents that new shoe blister. It acts like
and it also helps when you're not wearing, anything on your feet, when you're not wearing nylons or anything like that, sometimes your feet sweat. You can put a little deodorant actually on your feet, and that won't happen.
That's right.
That's the truth.
Deodorant acts like a spread-on Band-Aid. It blocks the friction and makes your feet smell good, too, because, I know that some people, boy, they take off their shoes. Whoa. Popcorn City.
Yeah, I think popcorn smells good.
Well, this is
depending on the popcorn.
cheese. This is cheese popcorn. Cheddar.
Gosh, you are just lovely. He saves this stuff.
Something that we always talk about, Elise, are the laws of attraction.
Absolutely.
And they consistently inspire curiosity in men and women alike, especially given our increasingly unique dating landscape.
Absolutely, I agree.
With right swipes quickly becoming the yardstick by which we measure attraction, in a somewhat vague and subjective gauge, we're much more intrigued by what people are scientifically attracted to.
Okay. Wow. Interesting.
Mm-hmm. And
what happened? Brain fart?
Mm-hmm. I was taking a deep breath and I lost my breath.
Okay.
You and I were in a different world when we were dating. There was no Tinder.
That is correct.
Match.
None of that.
Tumble.
Tumblr.
Tumblr or whatever. None of those things. When in my day, when we were going for a tumble, it wasn't a phone app.
It was like when you were playing Twister.
That's right.
Yeah,
Naked
and then you
Twister,
tumble.
strip Twister.
Yeah,
I
got
used to
it.
love that.
I'm sure you did. Sure, you still love it today.
But what's interesting today, that science has made interesting, is identifying science-backed traits that make men and women less attractive to their partner. Because we're always doing shows on what makes you more attractive, but here's a study on what makes
But you have to
less.
understand something, and this is the interesting thing, because you said a mouthful before. When we were younger and we were dating, we didn't have all of those technological situations. And so when you're texting and you're on, Tinder, if you will, or Match or any of those things, you feel very free and you say anything. And sometimes it comes off the wrong way. There's no emotion behind it. People don't actually hear or see your emotion, or they don't see you physically in front of you. So they don't get you. They just don't. And it happens like that. I hear about that all the time.
Yeah, and words and paragraphs and texts don't really get the feeling of what you're saying or how you're saying it.
Exactly.
So they can come across, odd. But if you ask a person about the 5 top qualities that they look for in a partner, sense of humor is most likely included in that list.
Absolutely.
That's right.
It's so important. Laughter feels good.
It does.
It's fun.
There was a 2009 study that said having no sense of humor or even an average sense of humor was significantly less attractive than having a great sense of humor.
Wow. I believe that.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, a sense of humor is huge.
And
it's actually a lot of women's top pick.
Oh, I think so too. I think so too.
And I guess men too.
Yeah, you don't want to stick in the mud.
Definitely not.
But another problem was sleep deprivation.
Deprivation.
That's what I said. Deprivation.
That's what you said. You're 100% right. Always.
That's right. That's lack of sleep.
Yes.
And, that lack of sleep can make you appear less attractive to potential partners.
I agree with that. And that's true. And that's really, really hard because I know for me, I sleep very little. And I think it shows. And the reason I sleep very well, the reason I sleep very well. All of you know the reason I sleep very little. My medication sometimes just does not let me. But it's really, really a difficult thing. Sleep deprivation can make you crazy. It can make you short. with people. It can make you not look so hot, that's for sure. And you can be uncomfortable with it also. You feel uncomfortable.
Well, there was a 2010 study published in the BMJ, which asked participants to rate photos of people that had slept for 8 hours the night before and people who hadn't slept in 31 hours. And unsurprisingly, the latter group was perceived as less attractive, less healthy, and even sadder.
I would imagine. Well, they're tired.
That's right.
You know?
Yeah. Now,
They're tired.
Now, this one will get you fired from Anthony Vincent Salon.
I know this one. Laziness.
Laziness, that's right.
Yeah.
And if you're looking for
Lazy people, no go.
That's right. And according to a series of studies published in The Evolution of Human Behavior, traits like helpfulness and contribution to shared goals are the heart of perceived attractiveness.
Agreed.
Yep.
Agreed.
The researchers found that even for conventionally attractive participants, their rating went down considerably if they were thought to be lazy.
There is no excuse for laziness. Absolutely no excuse for laziness.
You know, a lot of relationships can break up and go sour because one or the other partner is lazy.
Oh, yeah. You don't want a lazy person in your life.
That's right. You know, you don't want a guy who doesn't cut the grass because he'd rather be playing video games. How does a grown man play video games?
You know what? You don't want a guy who doesn't want you, who's lazy, who doesn't want to do what you want him to do.
Well, you also don't want a woman who lounges around the house and does nothing.
Eats bonbons.
Yeah, and just grows.
Yeah, you don't want
as
a grower.
time goes on. In fact, I have a picture on my phone of I call her my girlfriend in Puerto Rico. She's an older woman. She's laying on a lounge chair with a big giant
Eating
hat,
potato chips.
her hand is in the bag.
Yeah, he
eating
got the
potato
picture.
chips, and her belly looks like a mountain.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, okay.
Definitely don't want to climb that.
You've been listening to Trend Radio, where we talk about what's hot every Saturday morning at 10 a.m. You want more? Go right to our website, 920thejersey.com, click on demand, and scroll directly to us.
And get the lowdown on getting down. Tune in to your bad boy inside you.
Or your bad girl.
Listen each week. We always have something sexy to say. Got questions? Email us now at trendradio920@gmail.com. You'll be glad you did.
And remember, your smile is your logo, your personality is your business card.
But how you make people feel, well, that becomes your trademark.
I'm Anthony Vincent.
And I'm Elise.
We'll talk to you next week.
Bye for now.